Alliance of Civil Society Organizations of Tigray, Tigray University Scholars Association, Maqala University Human Rights Center and Maqala University Legal Aid Center held a workshop on the important role of local and international non-state actors can play, saying that while international non-state actors played an important part in bringing to light the atrocities in Tigray, they had failed to bring about meaningful action.
Well, the conference was all about two things. One was about evaluating the report which was recently given by the Amnesty International and the Human Rights Watch. The other is what did the international community, humanitarian international community's role, So,
the presenters basically presented that the role of these organizations was relatively better compared to the national and local civil society organizations, particularly in exposing the human rights and humanitarian law violations in Tigray. But this doesn't mean that there were not problems.
Dr. Sarah told the Brand discussed the failure of the non-state actors to provide sufficient support for survivors of weaponized rape in Tigray, calling their response wholly insufficient in light of the gravity and magnitude of the violence on women in Tigray.
And they are still speaking. Until today, a lot of these organizations are expressing their concerns, they are advocating, they are trying to mobilize resources, they are trying to intervene, but unfortunately for a Tigrayan woman sitting here and speaking on behalf of her sisters, I am sad to say until today nothing, not one drop of help has been able to come to the women in Tigray. And I would like to say, what are we waiting for? For example, the Human Rights Watch report stated that Tigrayan women who had gone under sexual and gender-based violence are actually double victims because of the siege. And it's 5 months since that report came out, and the siege hasn't changed. And international actors, national actors, and even at the Tigray region level actors are unable to go and help any of these women because of the siege. I'm not just saying the siege needs to change, I'm saying everything needs to change. The way this is happening, it shouldn't happen in Tigray, it shouldn't happen in anywhere in the world. This has to stop.
The civil society organizations also discussed the recent report by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch and the decision of these organizations to designate Western Tigray a contested area and a failure to name what had unfolded in Tigray by its name, a genocide.
The report, it was a shouting report, but it shouted about the atrocities, but it failed to name the atrocities by its very name, by genocide.
While they investigated so much the human rights and humanitarian violations in Tigray, their conclusion was very much reductionist, because generally when we read the facts narrated in the reports, basically we can conclude that these facts can lead us that genocide has already happened or committed in Tigray, but they didn't put it like that.
Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch had issued one of the most extensive reports on atrocities in Western Tigray that had led to displacement of more than 1 million Tigrayans.